one because it does have the text.
Hold on. I can give you my textbook, Dad.
That's all right. Well, we can just go into this one here. So I think.
Hold on, let me just grab it out quickly. The question and response book, right?
Sorry.
Question and response book for 2023. Oh.
No, the digital solutions. Am I in the right question panel? That's the question.
If you could share your screen, then I can check.
Okay, you let.
Because we can look at like the past external papers.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Wait, are these? No, these might be Unit 4 stuff.
Yeah, that's the reason why I'm saying that.
Hold on. Yeah, no, there's like.
But still okay. I think there's still some decent stuff in there. So it's all Unit 4. So that's the problem.
Yeah, it's all Unit 4 stuff.
Oh, hey, that's cool.
I'm trying to find the thingamabobbie.
So what we're trying to cover? We're trying to cover Unit 1 and 2 or just Unit 2?
1 and 2.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? Is it a 1 and 2 exam?
Unit 1 and 2, yeah.
Oh, that's just swell.
Because what we can do is that we can just go through the marking guide for this one here. And then if it's Unit 4, we can just write it off and then go back and then just keep the.
I think it looks like Unit 4 stuff. Let me see. How the patient data computer transferred, security impacts, security needs. Have you done security stuff?
No, we've not really done security as far as I remember, but we couldn't.
Yeah.
All right, let me grab the book and then.
Yeah. Hold on. I'll grab it for you.
All right. So, what do we want to focus on? Well, let's do something simple. Like, what do you want to learn more?
Let me check the thingamabobbie. What has Mr. Malaka taught us?
Because
it'd be easier to start with what he hadn't taught us, and the answer would be pretty much everything.
Yeah. Sensing.
Well, what we can do is that in the book you actually have on page 20 the test your knowledge and apply your knowledge.
Oh, yeah, test your knowledge.
Maybe that's something good that we can use as the base of review. All right.
Yeah, that's the knowledge would go really well because like he barely taught us how to do a test of knowledge, and he just expects us for that to be done.
Okay. All right. So what I want to do in here, we're just gonna work on it. Very interesting. All right. Name the 4 phases of digital solutions problem solving process. Ooh.
Edge.
Edge.
Is it edge? So what do you have? Explore, developing, generating, and evaluating.
Yes, sir. My favorite.
All right. So you have that one. Sorted out. So what do you mean by exploring in here? So that's what's very interesting. Okay, so exploring means that you break down the problem. You break down the problem into something that, like, a good example will be like, when you get sick, you say, I cannot eat. Well, what do you mean by I cannot eat? Right?
Oh.
Right. Oh, I cannot eat. Oh, what do you mean by I cannot eat? Well, everything I ate, I threw it up. What do you mean by that? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? Um, so you try to break down the problem into um, a simple solution, a simple, like a bullet points problem. Like, for example, let's take your website, right? So you want to build a movie website. Well, yeah, what is it do you need in that movie website, your movie review website, right? And you and then
Mm-hmm.
you start to state it. Okay, well, I need to be able to show all the movies that has come out. I need to be able to capture all the details. Well, what details do you want to capture? So you have like the movie name, movie title, the movie studio, and movie genre. Um, and then you ask again, okay, what else do you want to do in there? Oh, I want to be able to form a community. Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, when I mean by community, I want to be able to invite people to comment, to interact with each other, to add comments to the movie. So that's what it says in page number 3 here on the exploring, is that you need to restate the problem into concise bullet points, which means that you can't break it down even lower. So so
Mm.
so the bullet point is already very simple, that then you can solve it. Because if the bullet point is still big, then it's gonna be a bit difficult to solve it. And then after that, you go into explore a human need or want. So you're trying to understand the requirements from the user. So that why there in there you have the researching existing solution, establishing who is the target audience, or what we call user personas. It's user personas is like you putting yourself in the user's shoes. So you say, if I'm a movie buff, what do I want to see? Something along that line.
And that's how you make all the
Yeah.
ideas
So
and
so
that.
that is what the user
Which
persona
question is
like.
this?
No, we're doing edge process right now.
Oh, okay.
So
Mixed
that
flavor.
that is
Everyone,
the
everyone.
explore human need or want. And then finally you have the decompose, which is very interesting because you got restate and decompose at the end of the day. Decomposing. So decomposing here, what does it say here? Okay, so decomposing here meaning that it will result in the mind map. So I do like the concept of the mind map in here, is that the mind map here identifies the input, the output, and also the flow of the information as well. So if you look at the mind map on page number 6, you can sort of see in there like input. So you input service satisfaction from the user, and then you go process user input on service satisfaction, and then that goes into the sales alert, and then the sales alert also goes out into a mobile device as well by detecting the location of the user. So that is the edge. Basically, the edge, the exploring, meaning that the main goal of the exploring is that you want to really, really understand what is it the problem that you want to solve. At the end of the day, that's the goal. And then by doing that, you breaking down the problem into bullet points. And then once you get the bullet points, then what we do as a software developer is that we organize it. We organize it like, what is the we like to call it the low hanging fruit, which means that what is the smallest or the simplest problem that we can solve, or what is the most critical problem that we can solve. A good example in your movie database, the front end, so the movie list and movie search needs to be beautiful, needs to be easy to use, right? But the admin side, it's fine if it's just plain website. It's fine. It's no problem at all because there's only a few people who is admin who's gonna use it. So that's sort of the breaking down on the edge. Now the developing here is that what we're gonna do in that developing is that using the mind maps and then starting to design the flow of the system. So that sort of comes down into your data flow diagram, or starts come down to like a flow chart. Flow chart meaning that if the user do this, then you follow the steps, and then once you finish that one, then you got the generating, which actually building the PHP code, and then evaluating is coming back, and then assessing like how you go, what you solve, and then what else do you need to come back and revisit that one. So with the exploring the problem, we have to restate the problem, analyze human need, decompose the problem into smaller parts, identify requirements, and recognize constraints. So the problem, if you look at page 5, the problem basically says, because we're talking about the online system, online alerts, the problem is that the shop owner wants to use the technology to alert the people who pass by his shop with some sales in there as well. And then they know that people are engaged with the smart devices. So let's have a look.
Yeah.
So let's see if I can take a screen capture of this. Do I have a Discord on my phone?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
You'll be surprised.
No way, right? No way, right?
No, I don't need that. I need this. Yeah, I need this and I need that. It kicked me out.
I know that well enough. I should
Kicked
wrap.
me out.
Yep.
Send. Let's see if that one works. There you go.
Let me see. Well, it does work. Would you look at that?
So it is a bit silly. I can't really see the picture, but so what we're seeing here is that if you look at that picture, they have different colors. So I like to work on the red one first. So the red one is the problem. The problem that they want. Sorry, the red one is the problem that they want to solve. But what they're doing in here is that, let's see. It is quite simple. It's too simplified. Let me have a look.
Too simplified, bro.
But it's already that one in the mind map is already quite technical. So the problem is that they're restating the shop owners wonders if technology can help alert people, and maybe many people are using engage with their smart device. So I'm just reading to it. All right. So what we have in here is that we have two personas, right? So we have the user personas, which is the people who walk by the office, walk by the shop, and then we have the shop owner persona, is the person who has the shops. So what they wanted to do is that, so by understanding such factors as the age group, gender, and target audience, and the technology app commonly used. Okay. So let's put our heads on the user, the target user. So the target user,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what we have in the purple line on the bottom right hand side. So the target user is they're normally messaging or listening to music. They are very heavily technology and mobile user, and they are mainly 10 to 30 years old. So that's the first aspect. So that's understanding the user persona. Do we need to worry about the shop owner? Not really, because they are not really part of the system. However, what we can probably put in this mind map here is that you can actually put the shop owner as another branch in the mind map. The shop owner may be in his 50s or his 60s, like he's an old guy. Yeah, the
And
shop owner,
user.
he's an old guy. He's probably not very technologically advanced as well. So that's probably something that we can definitely put in this mind map as well. And and then what we need to figure out as well is that, okay, so the user is that, so the user is using the mobile devices. So that's why we have the red item in there, is that we need to capture the mobile devices in the mind map. Okay, what are the limitations of the mobile devices, right? Mobile devices, well, we have the GPS, which is great, so we can figure out where the mobile device is in. But we have a limitation of the smaller CPU on the mobile devices, which means that they won't be able to run as fast as a PC. So which means that your app needs to be very lightweight and very quick. And we also have to figure out about the mobile data as well, right? Because mobile data is expensive and you don't want to bombard them with too much information as well. If you overload the mobile data, then the message is probably not going to get processed. And also, what can the smartphone do for you? So what notifications can you do? So you can do notification via audio, you can do notification via screen in the pop-up as well. You can also vibrate as well. So as part of your app, you can vibrate the phone, like, hey, there's a new deal on it, right? So that is the mobile device and the user. And then functionality here is that how can we generate the alert? So that's why the alert comes from, okay, we're collecting information from the user as the user come and shop in the store, or they can use the app to rate their experience in the store, to rate their the items that they purchases. So that's why you have on the left hand side the green item. There is all the information that we will need from the user in order to be able to generate a proper persona. Because what we need, for example, the first branch on the top is the user input on satisfaction. So if they bought a shirt or they bought something from the store, they can put a rating on it, just like the movie rating, like the Rotten Tomato rating in the movie. So they can rate the movie. Now the next branch in there is that we ask the user to apply their personal interest in their app. Like, okay, I'm interested in hot pants, or I'm interested in shirts, or I'm interested in the printed T-shirt or funny T-shirt. So by using those data, then we can calculate and we can say, okay, well, this user is interested in the shirt. We have these 5 shirts that has just been recently rated by 5-star, and it's now 20% off. So when that user passed across the shop, we will send them a message. Hey, you like shirts? These 5 shirts, 5-star rating is 20% off. Please come and buy. And then the last one at the bottom there is that your another input that we need in the data, which means the input from the phone GPS, input from the sales message, so the owner can put up some special message like Easter sale is coming or Black Friday is coming. And then what do they want to output on the screen? So that is the explore function. So you're trying to write down the problem in a flow that later on can be translated into code. Is it just you left here, Ian?
No, it's just no, it's just
Will's here, I'm here.
Yeah, Nick. I think everyone's just muted so they don't
know,
like
but-
make any noise.
Will's muted.
Yeah, no, I'm here. I was just dying.
So
I was
what do you
coughing really
think,
bad,
though?
so I decided to mute
That's sort
myself.
of what I can explain about this edge system and the explore.
Yeah, no, it makes it makes a lot of sense now.
It makes sense. I just don't have my textbook, so I'm not completely 100% with you. But from what I'm hearing,
Yeah,
It
so
sounds-
that's
it
why
sounds
the
pretty
textbook.
good.
That's why I take a screen capture on the general, so you can.
I was looking at that.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I was looking
So
at
that
that.
is the explore one. The developing one is that then you start to come down into the steps, like what is it do you need to do to develop, like that's when you come into the IPO, input process output. So that is what the develop one. So if you receive a data, like for example, if you receive a customer survey or customer satisfaction, what do you need to do with that data? So what do you need to organize that data? Generally, we'll just store it into a database. And then we have the edge,
What else?
explore, develop, generating, which is just doing the code, and then evaluating, basically reviewing whether you have solved all the problem or whether you only solved half of the problem. And then we have in the software development environment, we have what we call an iterative approach or agile methodology, which means that we won't be able to solve everything in one go. So we pick what we can solve in the next 2 weeks. We'll work on it. And then once we finish, okay, did we finish it? All right, cool. Let's pick up the next problem. Let's solve it again for the next 2 weeks. So that is the evaluating. So we're just going to keep coming back and keep coming back and forth, coming back and forth. So that's why when we build the website, we don't try to build all the 6 different pages all in one go. We try to build it one by one. Like for example, you start with the database. You start with the database because that's the foundation and the core of the system. What information do you need? And sometimes you only ask as well, what is the minimum information that you need in order to build this? So you don't need to have the full set of database. You only need to have the minimum one. And as you grow the system, you'll add more data fields to the database.
I think that's that we understand, right? I think the one thing, I mean, like one of the things is that we learn a bit more about what data exchanges, and like actually explain that properly, I guess.
Yeah, but
Right?
isn't data exchange is how the data is transformed? Yeah, but isn't data exchange is how the data is transformed in different formats, kind of like how it goes to the database and use like SQL or whatever to change it to recognize it in the code.
How far is so gonna go?
So it's going to teach us 1
for
plus
that?
1. That's a good question. So it's going to teach us 1 plus 1 and then quiz us on factorials.
Okay, cool. So,
Literally.
so that's problem number 1. Problem number 2. Well,
What else do we need? Because most of these are like. What else do we need? Because most of these are like straightforward in it.
I would even go as far as like a little more on normalization and a little more on
Normalization,
primary
cool.
keys.
I do love normalization. Let me find the theory on the normalization.
I think the page was 130. I think the page was 130 something.
Yep. Database. So normalization. Okay, the reason why we need to normalization, do you have any idea what it is?
Isn't it like clean up the database and make it? Isn't it like clean up the database and make it easier? Oh, so you can like link like user profiles or something like that to another table. Tell me
It eliminates redundancy.
So that normalization means we want to eliminate redundancy, because when you are storing information into the database, you want it to be efficient. You don't want the database to be to be redundant, because if you having redundant information in the database, first of all, you're wasting storage, and second of all, you increases the data size in the database. So let's take up the example from the book.
We're trying to be as optimal as possible, right?
Yeah, so let's
We're
go
trying to be
to
as
page
optimal as
139
possible,
if you
right?
have it. So let's take an example of the book here. Let me see if they did say that it can read from photos. So let me see if this one works. They say Excel can read data from photos. So let me just check it.
That was so cool. That was so cool.
All right, let me see. Right. Let's check WhatsApp.
Right.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yep, I got it.
We'll
It's like
figure it out.
rotated though. It's fine.
Okay, let me see if I can download that. How do I download stuff? Save as. All right, so that is save. So now let's see, insert. I am new using this, so let me see if I can figure out how to insert. Excel. So even I have to, I don't remember everything. So Excel, insert data from picture. Click data and from picture. Okay. That is very simple. Data from picture. There you go. It is sort of frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen. Can't see a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's frozen. Can't see a thing.
Let's see. No, I think my Excel died. Ha ha ha. Super Excel died. Kill. Mm-hmm. There you go. It's coming up.
Are you streaming it? Yeah, but it's not working.
Okay.
Are you streaming it?
I'll
Yeah,
restream it.
but it's not working.
Oh, mine's, yeah, okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah.
Let me just get this data in first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way that's been 2 minutes. There's no way that's been 2 minutes.
Got the friggin' dinner out of the microwave and had to stand for 2 minutes.
Oh, I just got the friggin' dinner out of the microwave and had to stand for 2 minutes. There's no way this has been 2 minutes. Absolutely none. Being lied to.
There we go.
Let's see.
There we go.
Let's see if this one like. Nah, it doesn't like me. Okay, cool. That's fine. I just have to type it. I have to type it. So let's say you have the student name, right? So you got student one, first name, last name, year, semester, subject, result description. So in here we have a lot of repetition, especially in here is um the student name. So Roy, who is the name? Roy Andrews. So we have the student repeated multiple time, and then we have the Jared Lee. I don't know why they don't keep the year, which is very interesting. Okay. So the year and semester and subject is primary key. Okay. All right. So let's make sense of the what? Okay. Let's make sense of the rule of the normalization. So the first normal form. What the first normal form means is that each record row of data within a table is atomic in nature, meaning that it cannot be broken into smaller parts and is separated into records that are different from others. All right. Well, if I'm doing this, I probably split up the student and the result into one. But
Yeah.
2018, 2018.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that one. This is 2016. Semester 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1.
If that's a primary key, why does it repeat?
No. So primary
If
key
that's a
doesn't
primary key, why does it repeat?
because you have three primary key. When it is combined, it is unique.
Okay. Wait, what?
I'll tell you in a
Okay.
second. All right, cool.
Wait, what?
English.
Absolutely tremendous. Look at that. Absolutely tremendous.
I think we might be cooked here, lads.
We won't be cooked. We've got public in.
I think we might be cooked here, lads.
We won't be cooked. We've got puppet in.
Okay, bro.
All right, cool.
I
So if I
Yeah.
if I understand this correctly, is
Okay,
that we
bro.
have three primary key. So the data is 2018, and 2016, 12122122, English. Okay. So if I do this, so this is what primary key looks like. So because you have multiple primary key, when they combine it, it should be unique. But it is not unique to me from what I can see here.
Yeah, that's not unique. Yeah, that's not unique.
No. We got one more problem here.
What do you mean unique?
There's also another one here. It's called student ID, and this is also primary key. So if we add the student ID into the primary key, then it will automatically become unique. Because in here you got student ID 1111, 2222. So if you combine it in here, so student ID with your year, with the semester, with the subject, then that will become unique. So we have 4 fields combined together as a single primary key. But why do I have 2 English in there? Oh, this is semester 2.
Semester. Yeah, it's meant to be
Semester
No,
2.
Oh,
No, I get the number incorrect.
Semester. Yeah, it's meant to be super. No.
wait, but
Is
now
it?
there's 2 1s and then 2 2s.
Yeah, I know, but in
Yeah.
here you are
Wait,
there is
but now
nothing
there's 2
like we
1s
can
and then
do.
2 2s.
So there is nothing that is the same. So all these are all different. So this is
Yeah.
this is the final primary key. So primary key is combination of that. So now
Oh,
what
yeah.
they're saying
Yeah, I see
here
that.
is that does not meet normal form if completed duplicate value that has number data that has not been applied to all records. So in the example of the book is that the original example, the original table that we were given, it was very messy. So if you look at the original table that has been provided in the textbook, so if you look at the table above it, the table itself it's very messy and it's very out of place. So that's why from that first table they try to separate the table into unique form. Okay, now I understand. All right, cool. So the original data that they have, they don't have it like this. So this is what we call the first normal form, because every single row is unique. The original data that we have in here is that you have Roy Andrews 2018, and then you have year 1 English, and then suddenly in here you have year 2 English, and then suddenly underneath here you have 1,2, right? 1,2, and then you get math B, right? So this is your original data set. This is the original data set. Oh, we have also have the student ID. And the first normalization is that we need to transform this so that it is unique. Every row is unique. And that's why that gets transformed into this. So basically we make sure that all the rows, all the field in the rows actually has data. So how we transform this is that we say, okay, cool. So this one here, this is still Roy. And then that one's still there. That one's still unique. That one's still unique. I'm happy with that. This one here, that one's unique. But now we have 2 sets of data here. So now we have to split them up. So we say, okay, this is year 1 and this is year 2. And then because we split this 1,2 here, that's why here we have to do math B. And because this is empty, now we have to replicate that. So that is normal form number 1, meaning that we have to normalize the data so that we can understand every row's data information is unique. So
isn't that the exact same as the one above?
the one above is your final result of the first point of
isn't that
normalization.
the exact same as the one above?
So this one here, this is the origin. This is what the data looks like. So this is how if you're talking about if you're doing like the Sika Carnival database, the Athletic Carnival database, they're probably gonna give you something like this. They're probably gonna give you like a James. You do James Smith, and then you do
A
100
broken dot.
meter, 200 meter,
Empty field.
300 meter. So they can probably do like that, right? So if you got given this database, your first point of normalization is that you actually have to break it apart so that every data row is unique. So that one should actually becomes like this. So you normalize the data so that it's something that you can work with in the table. So you're making it so that it's readable inside the table.
So first, the very beginning one is all the data. Then the first one is making it more readable.
Yep.
So
Making it
first,
more readable.
the
Fill in the
very
blanks.
beginning one is just
Basically,
all the data.
every
Then
single
the first
field,
one is just making
so
it more
that
readable.
every single field needs to contain only one data. You cannot contain multiple data. And then when it's blank, you need to fill in the data as well.
Yeah.
So that is the normalization first normal form.
Yeah.
The English is very difficult, but I think I understand what it says. What it says is basically that if every single one of this is unique, the entire data in the row is unique, and then you cannot split it up. Like if you look at here, when we look at here, like this data here, that one is not unique because we can still split it up. We can still say, oh, James actually compete in 100 meter, and then James also compete in 200 meters, and James also compete in 300 meters. So it is something similar like your extracurricular as well, like your sports activities. So you can do James here doing athletics. I can't spell. Gym, volley, right? So now if we don't normalize this data set, it's gonna be very difficult to search for an information, because if I ask the database, can you give me the students who plays volley? Well, it's a bit hard because you cannot do students activities equals volley. We cannot do that, right? Because
they're on the same.
because they are on the same cell, and then there's no easy way to match it. So that's why every
It's because they're on the
must
same
contain
cell.
only one single data set. And that's why the first normal form is important. And the first normal form is quite simple. Once you understand it, all you need to do is fill in the blanks and then break apart anything that has more than one data. All right. So what you can do if you want to play around with it, have a look at the book. I think the book has some sort of sample info. Maybe let me have a look.
I would go for number 9 because I have the feeling that they're
Nick, what do you want to
both are great players. Messi or Ronaldo?
Yeah. So
Nick, what are you watching,
that
bro?
is the first normal form. So now the second normal form is the one that is getting a little bit tricky. Is that the second normal form? What it says here is that now, and then each attribute is fully dependent on the primary key within that record to give an overall meaning. Yeah. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. Honestly, I'm reading that like, what do you mean by that? All right, let me read them.
Yeah.
Ian. Yeah. Would literally look at this shit. Like I'm sitting here.
Hey, Ian.
Yeah.
With a
Would literally look at this shit.
microwave
I'm sitting here
meal.
Mis-
It does not
yeah.
multi-tail.
with a
You should
microwave
we have food.
meal.
It does
This
not
is
look
good, though.
fun.
It does not look good.
Dude, you should have just come over. We have food, you know.
Loaded chips.
This is good though.
It does not look good. What is that?
It does not look
There's a
appetizing.
Parmigiana, loaded chips, and carrot.
Hell nah. That does not look appetizing.
It's very tasty.
DFTs. DFTs are
I'm
simple.
currently researching
I'm wondering which
data flow diagrams.
DFDs. DFDs are simple, bros.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm wondering
What
which
are this
level I
first?
should do it on.
All right. So the second
no.
normal form is
Whatever
very
Sir says.
interesting and
I can't remember what it said.
and I'm trying to understand the terminology. What it's saying is that as part of the exercise of the first normal form as well, is that we have to identify what we call a primary key, because the data that it comes, it doesn't have the primary key. So we have to identify what is the key information of the database. So what is the minimum data that we need in order for this table to work? Like for example, in here, the reason why the student ID is primary key is quite obvious, because if you don't have the student, then
Yeah.
it's not really a primary key. Then this one here, year, semester, subject, they identified as a primary key as well, because all together with the student, they combine and they generate a single information. Now, the reason why this 4 is the primary key is that the focus of our attention is not really that. It's not the name of the student. The focus of our attention is actually the results. So the result field is the key information of this table, because this table here provided to us describes the final results of the exam. So technically, what we need is that we only need to have a uniquely identifying ID and then result A. However, we still need to link that result back to the student ID. When do they take the subject, which semester, and what is the subject? So that's why we ended up with 4 primary keys. However, it's not necessarily always to be 4 primary keys. Eventually, I found myself, if you take into account your swimming carnival database, I found it very rarely to have 4 primary keys. Most of the time, you only have 2 primary keys. The whole idea is that if you remove this, if you remove the column, I think that's a good question to ask. Which column is the primary key? The good question is that.
So I'm gonna say all.
Yeah, the question here is that if you remove it, will it work?
So they're gonna say all.
So if you don't have the student name and last name, is the table still gonna work? It's still technically yes. If you have the year, if you remove the year, is the table still gonna work? Maybe, because you're gonna start to have because you're gonna have some information that is ambiguous if you remove the year, right? So it's a bit of a challenge identifying the primary key, and I don't have a quick answer. Let me see if Google have one.
Microsoft Copilot.
Identify a primary key.
Microsoft Copilot, Dad.
And then we have primary and we got foreign key. Yeah. So Google basically say primary key of the table is a combination of columns that uniquely identify a row in the table. So that's why this table, only for this table, if we use the student ID by itself, it's not gonna work, because the student ID by itself is not going to be able to, this is the keyword, uniquely identify the row. So we need to be able to say, this is row number 1. This is row number 2. This is row number 3. So it's unique. So if you only use the student ID, we won't be able to uniquely identify it. If you only use student ID, well, first name, last name, we don't really need it, because if you remove it, it's still okay, because the table focus, the focus of the table is the, and this is something that you need to look at in the question, but the focus of the table is actually the result area here. We are documenting the exam results, right?
Yes.
So these results needs to be associated with a unique item. So if you remove B and C,
Yeah.
that one will still work, right? If we remove the subject, doesn't really work, right?
It's because you need the subject for the grade.
Yeah. So that's why subject is now primary key. Now, if you remove the semester,
It's because you need the subject for the grade.
still kind of work, but then you have this double up. You can see the double
It
up.
still kind of
So
works.
you got one, and English. So that's double up. So that is not unique. So that's why you still need that, because that needs to make it unique. So these three fields make it unique, right?
Yeah.
So technically, student ID, semester, and subject definitely helps, right?
Yeah.
These three alone generally will help, but since we have the year, we might as well use it. Because what will happen here? This is what will happen. Let's just say the student is a bad student.
What?
And then they failed English on semester 1, and then now they have to so this is 2019. They have to repeat English again on semester 1. So sometimes the data itself is still a challenge. So if we use this, then this is no longer unique. And that's why we need the year. So basically what we need to do is that I can't tell you what is primary key, what is not. The question that you have to ask yourself is that if you look at the data set, the columns, whether you can uniquely identify the row. That's the answer. So if you can uniquely identify the row, so our problem here is that if we use this, so if you don't have the year, let's just hide the year for now. Is this going to be unique? So let's have a look. 1-1 Math B, 1-2 Math B, 2-1 English, 2-1 Math A, 2-2 Math A, 2-2 Science. Well, technically, this will work as a primary key. But the problem that we have to look at is we have to look at the data as a whole, is that this data doesn't describe which year that they got the marks. So that's the reason. That's the reason why the year is required as a primary key, and that's why we end up with 3 primary keys.
It's because they're all needed to make
Yeah.
the database make sense.
Yeah, they are all needed to make sense of this data. The data that we want
It's
to
because
worry
they're all
about is this
needed
one here.
to make the database make sense.
I hope that helps. It comes with practice.
It kind of makes sense.
Okay.
It's hard to explain, but yeah, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then
No,
it comes with practice. So if
it kind of makes sense.
If we have some,
It's hard to explain,
what
but yeah,
we
it
can
makes
do
sense.
is that let's explore the sample exams to see if there is any sample questions that we can use to sort of do the normalization.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we just have to practice, and then we will learn from there. Otherwise, we're not gonna learn.
Yep.
I don't know if it's unit 2 there. That's the thing.
It's probably there. Otherwise, I'll find something. I'll find something.
I don't know if there's unit 2 there.
I'll find something that we can use for practice next time on the next session. All right. So now we are entering into the second normal form. So second normal form basically means that
Yeah.
we need to.
No, that's just SQL.
Yep.
This is kind of where the table is split into two, doesn't it?
Yeah.
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 So, like, for example, you would have student ID, first name, last name.
No, that's just SQL.
And have the ID.
This is kind of where the table is split into two, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, you would have student ID, first name, last name, and then you would have the ID on a different table and then continue that down.
All.
Yep.
I feel like all unit stuff because it's probably about like.
Yeah, I don't. Bro, this is like.
Yeah, because the
I feel like this is all
KCAA
unit
exam is
4
for
stuff
year
because they're
12,
just talking
which
about
is
like
unit 3 and 4.
crypts and everything.
That's fine. We'll find something. We'll find something. All right.
ChatGPT, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's plenty of information in the market. Okay. So here is
ChatGPT, baby.
second normal form. Now, my understanding of the second normal form, we can keep it very simple. Second normal form is that now you need to look at all the other columns, right? You need to look at all the other columns. And the question that I can say very simply here is that, can you replace them with the primary key? I think that will be the best question to say. So that's the reason why. Let me just duplicate this. So the first question, and this is the easy question here, is that column B and C, if we delete it from the database, can it still be represented by one of the primary keys?
Student ID.
Student ID, right? That's an easy answer, right?
Yep.
So if
Student
that's
ID.
the case, then it means this entire set can go and we can split them into a different table. And then we can delete them. So what we're saying here is that I can work with this. So I can say number one, this still works. And then if I need more information on number one, I just go into this table and then I get the information. So this one here now, it has a lot of duplication. So we normalize it as well. So that's why that one gets deleted. Remember, every row needs to be unique. So that is easy, right?
Yeah.
Because it's quite clear. It's quite in your face. And you can say, yep, that's fine. That's second normal form. My question here is that why don't we take out the result and result description column in the second normal form?
Yeah. Couldn't they go to a different table?
They can't go to the different table.
Well, why not?
Couldn't they go into a different table?
With the same or different, with the same student ID. So instead of doing the names, you link the primary key of student ID.
But why not?
With the results.
Aren't you link it with the same, with a different ID, with the same or different, with the same
Well, the
student
reason
ID?
why
So
we
instead of
can't
viewing the
move
names,
them is
you link the
because
primary
we
key of
can't
student
replace
ID
them
with the
a single
results
primary key.
for the subject.
So because we can't replace them, that's why it stays here.
What do you mean you can't replace them?
Well, which one of these 4 columns can replace this data?
What do you mean you can't replace them?
Remember, student, we can look at the student ID and we can sort of, okay, that student ID, I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you're saying that,
nothing.
well, if you're saying that, oh, we can use this for primary key, well, you are already in the normalized database. You are already in the
Yeah,
database.
you can't
that's
really
doing
replace
that,
it
so
then.
there's no need for you to break it apart again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the second normal form. Second normal form means that anything that can be replaced by or can be represented by a single primary key or a double primary key, you can split them up. But you have to be careful because this one here, the result has to be used by the four primary keys. We are already in the right database for it. That's why we don't split them. So that is the second normal form. So I think the good explanation is that anything. So what it says in the second normal form in the table must be fully dependent on the primary keys of each record to give overall meaning. In other words, every field that is not a key must be dependent on the field that are keys to give it meaning. So meaning that this actually is dependent on the student ID. So that's why it's there. Now, if you look at your swimming carnival, you have a lot of IDs, primary keys in there, right? So that you can split them up. Because you have the student IDs, you also have the sports IDs as well in there. So that is a few primary keys. And then what you do in there is that you bring across the student ID, the sport ID, and then you can have the time at the end. And that is your result. I think.
So time is our result?
Yeah, time is your result. So I think what we can do is we can try to do a.
So time is our result?
Give me your Excel document last time from the swimming carnival. We can use it. We can use it for the database normalization exercise.
What was it called again?
Something in your Excel document. Yeah, but I see if you can get the full one, the full table.
What was it called again?
I think you have a full table in the beginning.
Dummy data with Excel. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Here we go. Yeah, I got it.
Yep.
Save.
Copy the link.
Save to this PC. Yeah. Actually, let me just copy the link.
Right, that's fine. Let's finish this. So now let's have a look at the third normal form. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think so because you are in SharePoint. Let's see.
Oh man. Yeah, I just.
All right. Yep.
No,
I'll put it in general, Dad.
It loads.
You can access it from there.
You got it.
Yep.
Let's go.
All right. Cool. We'll have a look in a second.
Oh man.
So now,
yeah, I can just save it to my PC.
So now let's go to the third normal
you got
form.
It?
So
Bet.
the third normal form, what it says is that to be compliant with the third normal form, the data within the tables must now be checked to confirm that all non-key field data is not only dependent on the associated key, but does not have any other dependency outside this. Yeah.
In English terms? Please.
That's what I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to understand this.
In English terms? Please.
Yeah, Mr. Malak is kind of throwing. Legit, bro.
Oh, dang it.
Just a little bit. Just a tiny thing.
Yeah, Mr. Malak is kind of
So
throwing.
basically what it's saying is
legit,
that
bro.
on the third normal
Just
form,
a little
I
bit.
understand it correctly. Any
Just a
data
tad,
that
you
is
say.
not dependent on the
Yeah.
primary key needs to be worked on. So what it's saying here is that if you look at this student ID, right, this data is dependent. So it's already met the third normal form because it's already dependent on the a good example for you guys here is that the houses.
The housing crisis.
The houses. No, your houses. Nagel.
Oh, Junibais.
Yeah, your Junibais. So in here you can have Roy, Andrew here, and
The
then you
housing
can have like
crisis.
a
What?
J, Junibis. So the
Oh,
Junibis
Junibis,
information.
Junibis.
So Junibis, Junibi, and then in here you have like a score, right? So in the third normal form, we look at this table and then we identify what is not dependent onto the primary key. So the first name, last name is dependent on the primary key. We're happy with that.
Yeah.
The Junibi, maybe yes, maybe no, right? So this Junibi, but definitely the Junibi score definitely not dependent on the student primary key.
Yeah. So
Right?
that should be in.
So that needs to go to another database. So that's why this one here needs to go to the Junibi database.
Yeah. So that
we're
should
gonna
be
have,
in.
we have
It's
to
like
split
on
them up
separate
here
thing.
into a Junibi database. But in your Junibi database, you're probably gonna have the primary key is the name. So you got Nagel, you got Romero. But in here, you can have a lot of other information that is not even relevant to the student. But in here, you can come up with Nagel in here because it's this the Junibi primary key. Yeah, that's the primary key. So that one comes in here. So that means we can review the Nagel database, and then when we review the Nagel database,
Because
we
that's the
can run a
ID.
query into the student database, and we can say, show me all the students that is in Nagel, and then that will give you the result. So that is the third normal form. So as a result, in here you have high, very high. So very high. I'm just lazy, so I'm just typing very high, high, low, and then I'm just gonna copy them.
Wait, well, we only go into third level
Yep.
normalization, don't we?
Maximum third level. Maximum third level, because after you go to third level, it's very unique, the database.
Wait, well,
So
we
in
only go
here,
into third level
the result
normalization,
is
don't we?
dependent on the
I'm
primary
pretty sure.
key, right? Because that is the main value of this database. This database is about the results database. So that's why we keep this one here. However, the result description, if this doesn't exist in the database, it still works, right? So that's why the result description is then get moved into a separate table. So that's why in here you go and you create a result description, and then you only have A, B, C, and then you reduce the row. So that is the third normal form.
Okay, yeah.
All right, cool. So now
This exam's gonna go crazy.
let me see if I can massage Ian's Excel document.
Okay, yep. This exam's gonna go crazy.
You should be able to. Just like save a copy or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Create a copy, download a copy.
You should be able to, just like save a copy or something.
But this is the database normalization. I really like the database normalization because if you do it right, then your database will be awesome, and then you don't have to worry about duplicate data, and then your SQL will be more efficient as well.
Mm.
All right, so saving the information, and then let's see if we can play around with Ian's data set. All right, so let's have a look. You only have sheet 3. let's just try with this database and let's see if that one works. I'm trying to find something that's quite big. Yeah, I think I can work with this. All right, cool. So this is Ian's database design.
It's not showing if you have it open right now.
Yeah, it's changing. I just have to change the sharing.
Yeah.
It's not showing if you have it open right now.
It will. I learned a cool magic trick.
Yeah.
Really cool. Yeah. Oh, maybe we go.
It will. I learned a cool magic trick.
I like the pen icon.
Really cool.
Yeah.
You can change it into.
Oh, here we go. Let's go.
I know. I'm trying to figure out how I can make this database big without actually.
I like the pen icon. You can click that, and then you can change it into the app.
All right, maybe we'll do this. Okay, and then we'll go that one, and then I think I need one more here. Insert.
Yeah, I could go they're doing stuff outside the lounge and want to join. So thank you very much, Mr. Ian's dad.
No worries. Happy to help. We almost finished. I think
Yeah,
after
I've
this
got
we
to
can
go.
call
They're
it a
doing
night.
stuff outside the
Sure,
lounge
there's
and want me
quite
to join. So
information.
thank you very much, Mr. Ian's dad.
Say the name of this one then.
Right.
Yeah. So all let's just keep it simple, right? So in here, this is the database that we have. So you
Yeah,
got
that should be
the
fine. Yeah.
student name,
I'll stay to the end of this one then. Simple.
and then you got the age. Unfortunately, I don't actually have a duplicate name on here, so that's a bit tricky to explain. But in here, this is already a normalized level 1 because every row is already unique. This one here is the time component, so it's not multiple data, but it's time component, like 27.89 second. So what we can do in here is that we can separate this database into a student database. So you have here the student.
Is the screen frozen? Will? If you change something, nothing did change.
Okay, let me just change again.
Is the screen frozen for you, Will?
If you change something, nothing did change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Nah, same screen.
Still frozen. Okay.
You want me to help? Yeah, mine's coming up with like a orange exclamation mark. The stream of viewing is currently reduced video audio.
Yep. Nah, same screen.
I'm just getting this stream ended.
You want me to help?
Yeah, I just killed.
Yeah, mine's coming up with like a
1 second.
orange exclamation mark. The
This
stream
one
you're
here.
viewing is currently reduced video audio quality. This may
Alright,
be
Dad, hold on.
Here,
I'll leave there.
Oh, I'm just getting this stream has ended.
Yep. Can you see the screen?
Oh,
Yeah, I
yes,
can.
yes,
Okay, cool. So
Right,
you can stay
Nick,
here.
how are you looking overall?
Okay, so in here,
look,
so
right
what
now
we
I'm
can
just
do
trying to make
in this database
a
is that
DIGI.
we can definitely identify like the name of the student, right?
Yeah, I
That
can.
one can be quickly replaced with the student ID. So we can insert a student ID in here. So we get student ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can move the entire information here into a separate student table, right? Then the sports as well in here, it's doubling up as well. So this one here is the sports type. We can probably move them into a separate database as well. So that, but then since we only have the unique ID in here, that's a bit hard to move it into a separate database. But I will move it to a database because you have a separate table that describes the sport as well. Because in the sport you probably still want to hold like the record of the for that one as well, so we can have the sports in here. But then this is your primary key, so it still stay there. And then the gender here is a bit hard as well. Now I think this table is messing it up. I'll find another table, then we can definitely do a normalization practice on it. Because this one was already been normalized by Ian. This is already normalized level 2, and then we're going to level 3.
My bad, guys.
All right,
It's too clean. Come on, man. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I'll massage this into another normalized level 1, and then you guys can use it as an exercise.
It's too good, Ian. Come on,
All right,
man.
cool. Well, that's a good session.
Hour 15.
That's a good session. So I do have a recording of